All right, so we're going to move over here to INTP sexual 5. So I'm an INTP and sexual 5. I think maybe sometimes I get really caught up in the stress of trying to manage my inferior extroverted feeling. And then I remind myself that I should focus more on my co-pilot. Do you think that being a sexual 5 could make me tend to be more focused in some way on my inferior function, extroverted feeling, sort of obsessed with it? If it's the solution to one or to one-on-one connection that I want. So this is the solution to one-on-one connection I want. But at the same time, it seems almost impossible to navigate.
That is a really interesting question. So basically, as an INTP, this person would have extroverted feeling as their 3-year-old or inferior function. But we always talk about extroverted feeling as the place where we do a lot of like emotional connection between people. So as a sexual 5, if he's totally, I'm assuming it's a he. I don't know
it's
why.
Alex. I don't know.
Okay. This person, if they are maybe sort of idealizing this idea of having like that perfect special someone, as a sexual 5 tends to do, is that maybe why they're obsessed with their 3-year-old function of extroverted feeling and not doing the work they should be doing in their co-pilot, which would be extroverted intuition. So would you be willing to speak a little bit about a sexual 5's relationship with connection, one-to-one connection with other people?
Right. And I think 5s need to share more of their feelings, not just with one special person, but with more people. So in other words, they tend to have feelings, but they're sort of more buried deep inside, and it's hard for them to share and feel comfortable sharing. So that's one thing. And then what was the exact question you asked about connection? And again, sexual 5s tend to focus on finding that perfect person to have a relationship with. And part of looking for the perfect person is there's a really high bar of trust that's needed in order to open up and share feelings. And that serves as a defense against sharing feelings and connecting. Because like if you have to find the perfect person or the ideal person that you can really open up to, you may not find that person. Or if you do find that person, maybe you can open up to more people. So they tend to, because it's so idealistic about connection, they tend to cut themselves off from more opportunities or pushing themselves to do it with more people, or at least try with more people when they haven't found the special person.
Well, and if an INTP is hyper focusing on extroverted feeling, they're hyper focusing on something that isn't going to be a natural talent for them. So it's in some ways going to be slightly self-sabotaging as well, because that's kind of what I'm hearing. It's almost like a psychological loop you put yourself in. Like, I've got to have the perfect person, and so therefore nobody will do, and so therefore I don't have to share until I find that perfect person. So the growth path for an INTP would be getting into extroverted intuition, which is being willing to take opportunities as they come, being willing to take risk, getting outside, trying new things, meeting new people, traveling, doing all sorts of things that get you outside of yourself so that, maybe you find yourself in a bar in Australia pouring out your feelings to some stranger and you never see him again, right? That would be extrovert intuition. That all of these things that feel like that they would be dangerous to you, which really aren't dangerous, but they feel risk-taking and dangerous because they're completely out of your comfort zone. That's the growth of path for an INTP. And so if you really do actually want the relationship that you're obsessing over, it's not going to be in idealizing it. It's not going to be in sort of hiding yourself away and hoping that person shows up on a silver platter. It's going to be getting outside yourself, going and getting outside your comfort zone, going and taking risks, going and meeting lots of new people, and getting a better impression of how the patterns of how the world actually works outside of your idealization, outside of what you think you know about how reality works. For INTPs, getting outside is how you get feedback on whether or not your initial impressions are accurate. And so getting outside your comfort zone as much as possible is the best path for an INTP to actually meet the person that they want to be with. So would that be compatible with the sexual 5's growth path as well?
Yeah. Yep. I would say yes. Can I say a little bit of something about Enneagram Roadmap and how I think it's the perfect accompaniment to what I spend a lot of my time doing live? My business partner and I offer live inner work retreats. We offer them mostly in San Francisco, London, Cairo, and Egypt. Sao Paulo, Brazil, and coming soon, China. And in those inner work retreats, we do deep work with the Enneagram. But we don't really teach the basics. We kind of get right into the deeper work. So Enneagram Roadmap is like the perfect thing to do if you're wanting to do some deep work as a prelude to kind of doing one of our inner work retreats, or even doing one of our professional workshops where we help practitioners learn to use the Enneagram in a deep and accurate way. So we'd love to see you at one of our 5-day programs, but Enneagram Roadmap is really a good thing to do first, to kind of, first of all, just, enter into the Enneagram, I think, in a deep way, and how it can be used as a growth tool and what the system is all about. But also as an introductory workshop you can do in the comfort of your own home before you come and do something deeper with us, which we'd love to have you do.
Well, and to piggyback on that, Joel was mentioning when we flew Beatrice out again, when we were in Florida to record more content. As you mentioned, we've been listening to that all day long because we've been doing some editing on it. And I had forgotten how good those conversations were, because we were talking about things that, we were talking about instinctual stacks. So, people have been talking, I'm a self-pres sexual, or I'm a social, sexual, or whatever, self-pres. And then you just kind of hinted. And then we have the ones that's repressed, right? And in the Enneagram Roadmap, the content that we were creating, you mentioned how it was like a beach ball underneath water, that we do an elaborate balancing act to try to repress it and push it down so we don't have to see it. And so we talked about those things about stacks and what it looks like to have each of those instincts, what it looks like when one of those is your repressed beach ball underneath the water, and what it means to have one that's dominant. And it was
when it explodes.
When it explodes, yeah, because that beach ball will come up sometimes and surface, and what it looks like when your repressed instinct explodes. I mean, it's such good stuff. So that's now in the Enneagram Roadmap, or those are being uploaded right now, and it's just really amazing content. So I also would like to put my hat in the ring of recommending that right now, because we're releasing Enneagram Roadmap right now. It's a really good time to go check out that program. So